Meanwhile, over in the Senate, Republicans have secured a 53-46 majority. Later this week, GOP senators will be selecting a party leader for that chamber for the first time since 2007 as Mitch McConnell steps aside. Chad Pergram has a look at whose hat is in the ring.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell had one goal during his final term, steering Senate Republicans.
I really hoped I'd be able to hand over to my successor the majority.
But his successor isn't clear. 3 candidates vie for the job. Senate Minority Whip John Thune, former Senate Majority Whip John Cornyn, and Florida Republican Rick Scott.
2 years ago, I challenged Mitch McConnell because I know there has to be a change.
But Scott lost badly to McConnell, only garnering 10 votes. Of the 3 candidates, Scott aligned the most with President-elect Trump. And new Trump White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles ran Scott's gubernatorial campaign in 2010. In 2023, Cornyn called for a, quote, alternative to Mr. Trump, saying his, quote, time has passed him by. But now Cornyn aligns with the incoming president.
If we don't hit this 2-year window, really, with President Trump in office and a Republican majority in the House and the Senate, I think we will have squandered the best opportunity.
After the Access Hollywood tape in 2016, Thune called on former President Trump to withdraw from the presidential race. And in 2021 argued the president-elect tried to, quote, undermine the election and, quote, disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. But Thune is now on board with the next president. It's unclear if Mr. Trump will endorse a candidate.
The president obviously has tremendous influence, and if he chooses to use it, if he chooses to, it's his prerogative to weigh in on that.
Freshman senators-elect get to vote for leader.
I don't even know many of these guys yet, to be quite honest with you. We'll see who's on the docket when we get there.
But there's not much time. Republicans vote by secret ballot on Wednesday. The new leader takes over in January.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The clip I just showed you was actually came out yesterday about what's going to be happening today with the voting in of a new majority Senate leader. Okay, that's supposed to be able to lead the Republican Senate and hopefully be able to work with President Donald Trump. The only problem with that is, and I'll show you guys a little more, okay, as we go along, is that if anybody remembers, John Thune, okay, and not Rick Scott, the other guy, I forgot his name, I'll get to it in a second, they actually were against Trump a lot, okay. I mean, I don't see how Mitch McConnell could have had a secret ballot going to see who was going to be voted in, which happened today, okay, and expect the people not to think that it was something that was going to be against Donald Trump, for lack of a better term, the way I'm explaining it, because the way I see it, if I don't know if anybody knows or you're just catching on, but supposedly this meeting should have been, not this meeting, this vote should have been out in the open. But Mitch McConnell decided to do it in secret, okay? And that right there to me just, raises a red flag. The second thing is that Rick Scott aligns more with Trump's policies than the other two candidates that Mitch McConnell threw into the mix. Okay, now if you read the thumbnail, okay, I put down exactly what Trump has been, what Trump has been saying, and he's been saying that that there's problems and destruction coming from within the government, and if anybody knows, a lot of these Republicans are pretty much RINOs. Okay, why they had a secret vote is anyone's guess. I mean, leave it up to Mitch McConnell. I mean, we already know where that's going. But but also to have one person, Rick Scott, that aligns with Trump against two people that don't align with Trump. Even though they're all Republican, it doesn't mean that all three of them are going to basically work with Donald Trump to get things going. Okay, and that's one of the problems that Trump has always been trying to avoid, is having these establishment Republicans, okay, that say that they have, you know, America's best interest or the people's best interest, but in secret, I mean, Mitch McConnell, if anybody really knows, I mean, he pretty much showed that, you know what, just because you say you're Republican, that's not enough. That's not good enough. Okay, not to mention all the other scandals, okay, that people were have been talking about or talked about, and stuff that's, you know, that's come out. In my opinion, Mitch McConnell should have been kicked out a year ago, 2 years ago, okay, because he was not, in my opinion, he was not working for the betterment of the people of America and or America. And having a person like John Thune be the new Senate Majority Leader, I don't see it happening where everything is going to go smooth when Donald Trump needs to make decisions or whatever the case is, that this guy is not going to throw a monkey wrench, okay, into the mix the way Mitch McConnell was doing. Okay, so I'm gonna play some more videos so you guys can see what's going on, because John Thune was elected today, okay, not surprising, and for some odd reason Rick Scott did not get the backing that he needed, and like I said, that's what bothers me, because you had all these Republicans, you know, having a vote, and supposedly Rick Scott only got about, what, 10 or 13 votes, where he had to drop out, and then they left the voting up to who? To the two RINO Republicans to see which one of them was going to win. I mean, you know, for that matter, they should have just let the Democrats choose who they wanted at this point to be the majority Senate leader. But with that being said, let's get to the next video clip. Here we go.
Are on one team. We are excited to reclaim the majority and to get to work with our colleagues in the House to enact President Trump's agenda. We have a mandate from the American people. A mandate not only to clean up the mess left by the Biden-Harris-Schumer agenda, but also to deliver on President Trump's priorities. We will make sure that the President and his team have the tools and the support that they need to enforce border security laws and to remove the violent criminals who are wreaking havoc in every one of our states. We will work to make America prosperous again by streamlining the bureaucratic machine and overturning costly Biden-Harris regulations. And we will work to restore American energy dominance. Not just our energy security, but energy dominance, which will lower costs and bolster our national security. I'm excited to get to work with this team right away. And I want to thank my colleagues who placed their faith in me to serve as leader, and to those who were supporting another candidate. I promise to be a leader who serves the entire Republican conference.
Okay, let me cut in real quick. You know, not for nothing, but whoever voted him in, I think people need to find out, because if this guy goes south, okay, which I would not be surprised, because Mitch McConnell was the one that basically endorsed him, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, where a lot of people are leaving comments that anybody that's endorsed by Mitch McConnell should not be trusted, and I totally agree. Okay, Mitch McConnell did not have the best interest of America and the American people at heart. Okay, and I think that the last 4 years have proven that. Okay, not to mention all the beef he had with Trump when Trump was president. Okay, this man over here is saying, basically, you know, using the talking points that of the policies that Trump says that he's going to enact. My question is this: is he going to be on board 100%? Okay, with whatever decisions, you know, that Trump wants to make, where they're going to wind up getting, you know, the votes that they need, or is he going to go and try to find some way where they can stick in, let's just say, pork, okay, everybody knows what that is, into any bills that need to be passed, where the Democrats, you know, are bending his ear behind closed doors. You know, I know a lot of people saying, you know, we need the majority of Republicans, you know, in the Senate, in the House, you know, whatever. I get all that. I get it. But we all know at the same time, there are a lot of Republicans, okay, that have been against Trump, okay, that will not support him, but yet they still got the Republican vote from the people, and they didn't stand up and do their job, okay? I mean, unless you're a fan of Liz Cheney, which I don't know how anybody could be, but if you're a fan of Liz Cheney, then you already know what kind of a voter that is, you know? I mean, like right now with Marco Rubio, okay? A lot of people are talking, you know, talking about Marco Rubio, how he is a warmonger and stuff like that. You know, he's like another Bush when it comes to that type of Republican. That I can see. I never did like Marco Rubio. I mean, he's got one or two good points. He talks a good game when it comes to saying that he stands up for America. But, you know, he's also got some things that are coming out that a lot of people don't like. Some of the stuff is new to me, which tells me that, you know what, those are not the kind of people that we want in certain positions. If we're supposed to bring this country back up, okay, and we're going to do it standing behind Trump's policies, we cannot afford, okay, to have RINOs in the way, and especially if it's going to end up being just another Mitch McConnell, just younger, okay, and getting the back by Mitch McConnell. And if I had to guess, the reason why they had this vote behind closed doors is because they knew that the people wouldn't want anybody but Rick Scott, okay. But obviously, I'd have to say that the Democrats had a part in this, in the way this vote went. Okay, I know some, you know, a lot of people say that, you know, that can't be the case. Trust me, the RINOs are in cahoots and always have been in cahoots with the Democrats. We know that RINOs are basically just Democrats on the Republican side. Okay, but let's listen to a little bit more of what this man has to say, and then I'll jump into another video so you guys can see that this man was never on the up and up with Donald Trump. And just a side note, I was watching some other footage. Rick Scott, 99% of the time, okay, sided with Trump. Thune, on the other hand, I believe only sided with Trump like 32% of the time. Something like that. So how all the Republicans voted to give Thune, okay, more votes than Rick Scott, like I said, we need to find out who those Republicans are, because those are the Republicans that I would not trust, okay? Being truly 100% on Trump's side, if they decided to vote in a guy that only voted with Trump less than 40-50% of the time. But just thought I'd throw that in. Think about it, people. Let's go.
We'll have an ambitious agenda, and we'll take each and every Republican working together to be successful. With that, I want to turn things over to Senator John Barrasso, the newly elected Republican whip.
Thank you. On election night, America saw the remaking of the Republican Party for the better. This election was about the answering to the question of, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And the American people said no. Only 1 in 4 Americans thought that the country was heading in the right direction. And you've seen the Republican Party grow in terms of hardworking middle-class families, in terms of minorities, in terms of young people.
Oh, and I just want to throw this in real quick. I'll rewind it just a little bit. Since there's been a lot of stuff on the internet, a lot of the leftist content creators and stuff like that. People are trying to question the validity now of the election. Just so you know, Donald Trump won, and yes, there are about 18 million votes that are missing. So 2020 is very questionable right now, and he also got the popular vote. I just thought I'd throw that in there, just, you know, to just dig it a little into all these lefties that are still crying. But let me go back just a little bit, and we'll continue.
Minorities, in terms of young people, in terms of families struggling to get by. In the last 3 weeks before the election, I was all over the country with President Trump, with J.D. Vance, as well as a number of our Senate candidates. One of the stories that stuck with me was a woman in Michigan who talked about the fact that she was embarrassed to let her husband know that she had to go to the local food bank in order to get by. Republicans listened to those stories. Democrats were focused on President Trump. Republicans were focused on the needs of the American people. People who wanted to get prices down, wanted to secure the border, wanted us to unleash American energy. People wanted to make America look and be strong once again around the world.
And another quick side note about it, since he mentioned energy, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but California, okay, Gavin Newsom and them, they just basically raised up gas again. And I believe they said starting in January, it's going to go up like 65 cents a gallon. And they expect it to go up to 2 gallons more by the end of next year, beginning of 2026. Don't know if anybody's heard of that information, but it seems like everything that the Republicans want to do in order to be energy independent, California is finding a way to basically keep their people down. And I truly hope that when Trump, and I say this because I truly hope that when Trump starts to implement his policies, that all these Republicans that ran to get reelected, that said they were standing behind Donald Trump, standing for the American people, that they will really stand with him, okay, and that they would definitely stand with the people in California, whoever's Republican in California. I really hope that that these RINOs, okay, don't wind up changing their mind where they're going to make it hard, and then it's going to wind up looking like, oh, well, you know what, Gavin Newsom's not wrong, Trump was wrong the whole damn time. You know what I'm saying? Because all I hear is all these Republicans basically repeating the policies that Donald Trump is promising to do, but where was their strength, okay? Where was their backing for Donald Trump these past 4 years? A lot of them basically turned their back on him, okay? So I truly hope that if these guys are going to start talking and using Donald Trump's policies, you know, whatever he's saying they're going to start using for their speeches, that they're going to stand behind that 100%. Because if they think they're going to throw a monkey wrench into everything and think that it's going to take away Donald Trump's supporters, no. It's only going to make you guys look bad, and you guys are going to get voted out.
That's what the Republicans listen to. That's what we're responding to. And we are now working together to make sure we can put America back on track.
Let's hope so. That's going to be on you guys.
The newly elected Republican Conference Chair is the Senator from Arkansas, Senator Tom Cotton.
Thank you, Senator Thune. I'm looking forward to working with Senator Thune and the rest of this leadership team. I'm very grateful for the confidence that my peers placed in me. We all remember what it was like when President Trump was in office and we had Republicans in charge of the Senate. We had low prices, we had high wages, we had a secure border, we had a strong military, we had a peaceful, stable world. Starting on January 3rd, that's what we'll all be working to build again with President Trump, with Mike Johnson, and the rest of the House Republicans on behalf of the American people. Thank you all.
And without the Democrats.
Thanks, Tom. The newly elected Republican Policy Chair is the Senator from West Virginia, Senator Shelley Moore Capito.
Thank you, and congratulations to our new leader, John Thune. He will be a strong voice, as he has been in the past, as the whip, and I look forward to serving with him and with all of our leadership team. I want to thank the others that ran. We had a really strong, healthy discussion, and we've all come out united and friends. And one of the people that was in our discussion is one of the people that is going to, although he didn't say anything, his presence was very much felt, and that is the Vice President-elect, J.D. Vance. I think the fact that he not only was a voting member of our conference, but also in there with us every step of the way to make sure that the direction that we're going to go as a united conference, and with me leading the policy issues and all of us working together, that we're going to have a united voice. And I'll say one thing about the election. I've said this on all my local stations. What I think the biggest issue was, and there are big ones, border and national security and others, it is literally the American family, the mom and the dad, the grandmother, whoever it is, going to the grocery store.
Absolutely.
We do it all the time, every week. and we could see, all of us could see, the escalating costs of something so very basic to us, just the cost of food, and hearing from the vice president in her campaign, the economy's doing great, don't worry. And so
I hope so, because I tell you what, she just mentioned something about the grocery store. I'm just going to share this with you guys. Before I got home, I stopped at the market. I spent almost $18 just for a 3-pound package of chopped meat. $18. I remember when it was like $5, $6, $7 for like maybe 4 pounds, maybe $10 for almost 5 pounds. Now it's $18 where I'm at, okay? And it's like, I could only imagine what these prices are like in New York and in California, Chicago, and other places. You know, like I said, they're going to keep, you know, talking about Donald Trump's policies. Donald Trump made promises, and we all know that when he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. I really want to know how many of these people in the long run, okay, are going to stand with him. It better be every single one on every single policy. That's just my opinion, because you know what? They need, well, obviously I'm not going to say they need our votes, because they obviously had this vote in secret, but when it comes to them being voted back in, whatever districts they're at, whatever states they're at, people need to pay close attention to find out and make sure that, you know what, that they're going to go with every single one of Donald Trump's policies. Let's continue.
we hear those voices, we hear them loud and clear, and those are the voices that we're going to respond to along with President Trump through the next several years.
Shelley. The newly elected Senate Republican Conference Vice Chair is the Senator from Oklahoma, Senator James Langford.
Hey, congratulations to John Thune. We're looking forward to his great leadership there. Republicans were asked a very simple thing. Can you get us back on track? Over 70% of the country right now believes the country is on the wrong track. Our task is going to be very, very simple: to defend our values, to be able to strengthen us as a nation, and to be able to bring prosperity to people that are really struggling right now. That's a primary issue for us, and all of those things are things that we're going to get onto immediately, because the American people have spoken and said we do not like the direction that the country is going, so let's get us back on a better direction. So this leadership team, President Trump, J.D. Vance, we're headed in a direction to be able to get the country back on the track that she is looking for.
I'm gonna leave this video at that because I have one more video I want to play. Well, we all know that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are on the right track, okay, and the people that he's bringing close into his circle are gonna be on board, and that's fine. The only thing is that too bad he can't just use the people that he has on board now, like J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, who else is it? Tulsi Gabbard, Kennedy, Tucker. You know, too bad he can't have just those people to run everything. Okay. Also Vivek Ramaswamy, which I'm 50-50 on that. That's just my personal thing. I was never a big Ramaswamy fan. Just something about him, and I'm gonna hold on to that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. If anybody else likes him, I mean, that's on you. You know, you vote for him, you vote for whoever you want. I just that's probably the only one in his group that I'm like 50-50 on. But we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how many of these people that voted John Thune in. Okay, because the names are going to come out eventually. We're going to see when things go on, if something happens where he's not aligning with Trump, okay, and they start knocking heads like he did with Mitch McConnell, we're going to see the ones that voted him in, if they're going to have anything to say about that. But hopefully, with God's grace, he leads all these people to do the right thing for this country and for the people of this country. But with that being said, let me get to the last clip, so I thought you guys can see a little more about what's going on and like how John Thune, okay, felt about Donald Trump. Here we go. Okay, before I play this last clip right quickly, I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. Also, once again, last night's video on FEMA barely got any views. It was barely pushed out. The video before that, I'm going to leave last night's video at the end of this one so you guys can go check it out again, because it just seemed like the more information that's coming out with FEMA, the less I'm not going to say the videos for all the channels, because some of the bigger channels, their videos are being pushed a lot. Obviously, they're being seen a lot because they have a lot more subscribers. But I'm noticing on some of the smaller channels like mine, people are putting out content on FEMA and they're not getting that many views. And if it's a hot topic, I think it's something that everybody should be able to get information on and see what's going on and be aware. I just wanted to throw that out there. So let's get to this last clip. You guys listen to how basically John Thune and the other guy's name is John Cornyn, that's who it was, felt about Donald Trump.
But let's go to Chad Pergram. He's more on how this second vote went. Hey, Chad.
Good afternoon, Neil. Well, as you say, we have a new Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, the Republican from South Dakota. This went to a second ballot. There were three candidates in this race. You had John Thune, you had John Cornyn, and you had Rick Scott. The issue here is that the winner had to get an outright majority of all 53 Republicans casting ballots. So the magic number was 27. I should note that incoming senators-elect were in this meeting. Also, J.D. Vance was in this meeting. We don't know definitively that everyone cast their ballots here. But what happened on that first ballot is that John Thune did not get to that number, that magic number of 27. He was a couple of votes ahead of John Cornyn, and Rick Scott came in with only 13 votes. And per the Senate Republican Conference rules, the third place vote getter drops out. So this then boiled down to a two-way race between...
See, that right there to me is suspect, because obviously if Rick Scott had 13 votes and had to drop out, so and then they left it up to the two, okay, RINOs, I'm gonna call them, okay, that means that John Thune wind up beating John Cornyn probably with Rick Scott's 13 votes, because the first one what he said had to get to 27. So that means that John Thune only had 14, okay, if I'm getting the math right. Now my thing is this: who were the ones that voted him in instead of giving Rick Scott those votes, knowing that Rick Scott is the only one, okay, the only one that aligns with Trump 99% of the time?
John Cornyn and John Thune prevailed. I should note that he is the second leader in the Senate from South Dakota. You know, he came to the Senate in 2004 after beating Tom Daschle. The Democratic leader had been both the majority leader and the minority leader. John Cornyn had served as the majority whip. Right now, John Thune was the minority whip, and there was a certain group of Senate Republicans who wanted a break from the current leadership team. You might remember that Rick Scott, he ran for the Senate leadership post 2 years ago against Mitch McConnell. He only got 10 votes there, but he ran again. He did a little bit better, but it wasn't enough to beat John Thune. You know, here's the issue. A lot of people talked about, you know, why one candidate or the other might prevail in this. It was generally believed that John Thune probably had done the most work. He had, you know, raised a lot of money, done a lot of campaigning, but he also had the best relationships. Now, what would his relationship be with President-elect Trump? There was a point in time where they were not on the same page by any stretch of the imagination. Back in 2016, after the Access Hollywood tape, Thune asked for President Trump, then candidate Trump, to drop off the ballot. After the second impeachment trial in early 2021, after the Capitol riot, he voted to acquit, John Thune did, of the former president, but he said that he thought that he tried to subvert democracy. But since that point in time, See,
there you go. 2 strikes against him already. Okay. Whereas Rick Scott won against Mitch McConnell 2 years ago and lost, and now here he is, knowing, and everybody knowing that Mitch McConnell has to leave. And if he went against Mitch McConnell back then, and he's going against him now, okay, so he can get the spot. And John Thune already had 2 strikes against Trump. Why? Oh, why? And the third strike is that he doesn't align with a lot of Trump's policies, where Rick Scott does. Why, in this private vote, in this secret vote, why did they decide to vote, them vote in or for John Thune and not Rick Scott? You know, this is what Trump talks about the enemy within. Okay? And I, for one, am going to be a bit worried about this going forward, because it's like, you know, Mitch McConnell, you know, did everything he could to undermine Trump. Okay? John Thune and John Cornyn, the same thing. I mean, they, you know, 1 minute they're hot with him, the next minute they're cold with him, whereas Rick Scott has always been on the side of Trump. And if you ask me, once again, there is something going on in, behind closed doors where I just feel, and I pray to God not, but I just feel that somewhere along the line, there's going to be a problem with John Thune and Donald Trump when it comes to certain policies. That's just the way I feel about it.
He and the president-elect have patched things up. Now, you had this meeting just close to the Capitol this morning between President-elect Trump, House Speaker Mike Johnson, and all House Republicans. We thought there might be a meeting today with the new leader, whoever that was going to be, and President-elect Trump. We don't think that's going to happen at some point today. It might happen later this week. And we do expect to hear from the new leadership team at some point later this afternoon. They have a couple of other races there down ballot to parse out, and that's something that they'll continue to do as they debate these candidacies for these lower tier leadership positions inside the old Senate chamber. Oh, and I should note this, Neil, we might not definitively know who voted for who. The reason, it's a secret ballot. Some senators will come out and say, this is who I voted for, and I'm proud to say.
Yeah, figures. It's a secret ballot, and why? Why should it be like that? We're supposed to be the party of letting everything out in the open. All of a sudden, there's a secret ballot. Why? Because Mitch McConnell called it that way? If that, Mitch McConnell's nothing but a damn traitor. Okay? Why the Republicans that had to take part in this, agreed to that? The ones that if they truly felt that they wanted transparency or anything like that, they should have had an open vote. They should not have been held in secret. And now saying that, that the names might come out, some of them might put their names out, but for the most part they're not. That right there, to me, people, I'm sorry, but it just raises a red flag. It raises a red flag for the simple fact that, you know what? If something goes wrong, okay, between John Thune and Donald Trump, which the people that voted him in have an easy way without telling their constituents, well, this one falls on me, and them getting voted out. Okay? And, they ran on the fact that there was so much secrecy with the Democrats and the Biden administration and all that, but yet what did they just show just now? Okay? And it also shows that, okay, how many RINOs are there really in the Republican Party? Because to tell you the truth, for the past 4 years, me looking at a lot of these Republicans, and I mean, if I upset anybody who you voted for, yeah, I'm going to apologize, because I'm not saying that you made a bad vote. What I'm trying to say is that who exactly are the people voting for when it comes to Republicans these days? How many? How can I say? Is the Republican Party infiltrated that badly? Okay, that even though Trump is president now, and he's going to wind up taking the reins in January, and he's got a good group surrounding him, like his first close-knit group, and there are going to be others that are going to be on the outskirts, but one would think that it should be the majority, and it just doesn't feel like that. It feels like most of them that are the secret RINOs are the ones that are just going to, basically nod yes just so they can keep their jobs, but when something goes down, instead of them taking responsibility, it's going to be easier for them to just keep their mouth shut and say, well, nobody knows if I voted for John Thune, or whatever the case is. In other words, just so they can have an easy way out. And these are the people that Donald Trump talks about, the enemies within, on the Democrat side and the Republican side. These are the people that should be voted out 100%. If you do not have America's best interests at heart first, and the American people's best interests at heart first, you should not be in our government. Plain and simple. Okay? That's just the way I see it, because if we're gonna try to move forward and make things better, and if 70% of the country is saying that the country's headed in the wrong direction, Donald Trump had this red tsunami of votes, not to mention 5 million more popular votes. Okay? The last thing we need is for the RINOs to still be in cahoots with the Democrats behind closed doors. That does nothing for the country but just keep a leftist agenda going. And we all know where that goes. Okay? I mean, look at what's going on now. Look at what happened with Bush, Clinton. I mean, you name it, Obama. I mean, all of them. All of them. But we'll see what happens. The votes went in. We'll see how this all, starts to play out, the next few months as everything starts to unravel and people start getting in place and doing their job. Okay, because that's what we expect, for everyone to do their damn job. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, keep praying for the women and the children, pray for this country, pray for each other, pray for your enemies, pray for Donald Trump. And there's going to be some small, like I've been saying, smaller votes coming, okay, as time goes on. Don't forget those little votes, okay, in your communities, in your neighborhoods. Stay vigilant. Make sure that we start, getting people out. Another thing, pay close attention to the Board of Education. Donald Trump, okay, has already said that he wants to dismantle the Board of Education. People, you need to get engaged, okay, especially anybody out there with children. You need to get engaged. Keep a close ear to what's going on with the Board of Education. Peace.